I mean, I've been dealing with North Korea now for over 20 years. I was a member of the European Parliament. I travelled there on European Parliament delegations. I was there on 3 ad hoc delegations back in the 1990s, early 2000s, and then at my suggestion in 2004, we set up a standing delegation with the Korean Peninsula. But I've travelled there also as part of a political dialogue that the North Koreans asked me to arrange, where I've been talking to the head of the International Department of the party. He's also a member of the executive of the Politburo. That's the top 10 people in the country. The summit in Singapore was rather more spectacle than negotiation, though that should not move us away from the point that 3 months ago we were actually in the position where the US was seriously contemplating preventive military strikes against North Korea, which in my view would have led to a second Korean War and probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dead. Certainly, if it had gone nuclear, it would have been in the millions. It would have devastated the peninsula, had major impact on the region, and probably led to a global recession. So even if we've got a very low base to move from, we're at least we at least have some kind of foundation for moving forward. Even getting to the summit was not easy. There were some rocky bits on the way when you had a situation where people like John Bolton actually made what I would term as transitional demands. He went on Fox News and demanded that the North Koreans give up their nuclear deterrent, their nuclear program, their long-range missiles, their medium-range missiles, their chemical, their biological weapons, and they found all the missing abductees that Japan claims they have. Now, firstly, that was way beyond what Pyongyang was prepared to offer, and frankly undeliverable. So if they had delivered that, there would have been regime change in the north. And the response was for the North to get very rhetorical. They brought on Kim Jong Un, who was the former chief negotiator for the six-party talks, to say this is, we're not a surrendered country. Effectively, we're engaging these negotiations on the basis of goodwill. The North toned down the rhetoric. John Bolton was, in a sense, put back in his box, and we got back to the summit. We've got the more difficult phase now, which is when the two sides are going to have to sit together and make an agreement. Last time this was done back in the 1990s, it took them 2 months. I certainly think it's going to take them 2, 3, 4 months. I forecast it will be done before the midterm elections in November in the United States, but you're either going to have an agreement or not an agreement, and that's going to be probably dozens, if not hundreds of pages long, where you're going to have step-by-step moves on the two sides. One, I think to make America safe again, they've got a very early offer of getting rid of their ICBMs. Even if you've got nuclear bombs, if you can't deliver them, then America's safe. That's one thing that Trump wants to do. But there will be a phased giving up of denuclearization, probably over a decade to go along with that. At the same time, on the other side, America's got to build trust with the North. The whole point is wanting security guarantees, wanting a peace treaty so as they can get on and, if you want, grow their own economy in their own way. I think Trump is slightly misreading them by offering to sort of parachute in McDonald's and American multinational companies. They're not interested. These are not security from the United States, and then they'll do it in their own way, and it'll look a lot more like China and Vietnam than it will look like, if you want, Haiti or Cuba, as the Americans would like to do it. But that's going to be very tricky. Getting the agreement's going to be hard, and the most difficult bit, as we've seen in the past, is going to be delivering on that over a period of years. There'll be lots of opportunities for arguments about cheating, about failing to deliver, about ill will, and you're going to have the danger of, if you want, what I call mission creep. The deal with Iran actually was a nuclear deal, but the US was complaining about their missile program, their alliances with Hezbollah and people like that. And we had the same back in 1994 with the previous agreement with North Korea, the agreed framework. Because then again, the Americans started raising the missile program, the space launches and whatever, not covered in the deal. I mean, with the North Koreans, A, listen to what they're saying, and B, you get what's on the box. If you've done a deal, I think they'll stick to that, but they won't be sticking to anything else.